Tanir Williams. What's up, everyone? How you doing? Good to see some faces in the house. I want to talk about something that I don't know that comes across me quite a bit, being a black male, and I'm sure a lot of you guys come across it too. It's stereotypes. Every race has them. Every culture, people think certain things about people. For instance, when I go places, you know, if I show up at a basketball court, people automatically think, this dude can play, you know. Now, I actually can, so maybe I'm a bad example, but a lot of times, you know, my wife and I went on vacation to the islands. We show up at the hotel, I'm wearing like a Kobe Bryant jersey, and you know, you start getting the looks from like some of the hotel people, like, oh, is he, you know, so I'm walking around, this guy comes up to me, are you Kobe Bryant? Without a doubt, yes, I am. You gotta take advantage of this stuff sometimes. So we get the upgrade to the room. We're getting like dolphins bringing us, you know, breakfast in the morning. So then I think after a couple days, someone figured out like this dude is. I mean, why would Kobe be wearing his own jersey? Didn't make any sense. But I was like, hey, I'll run with it while I can. So eventually, when they found out, I think we ended up like in the cellar, you know, because they were upset. Like, oh man. You know, another thing that I come across a lot is, you know, you go to the club looking good. Especially non-black females look and be like, this dude can probably dance. He's got the swag going. He walks in, drinks with his pinky up. You know, he's big time. You know, now I actually can dance. So again, maybe I'm a bad, you know, example. You can't put that on all black people because I've seen some bad situations out there. Now, one of the ones that I think is one of the most ridiculous ones that's out there is when, you know, I was on spring break with a couple of my friends in college, and this girl straight up told me, I'm not even kidding, just came up and was like, I heard black dudes, you know, packing down low, and it measures from the elbow to the wrist. And I was like, what? I mean, are you serious? I was like, you know, everybody knows it's from the shoulder down. I mean, but seriously, can you imagine that? I mean, that's like to the ankle type stuff. I mean, you could be like sitting around standing and just be like, oh my God, my feet are tired. And you I know, like girls' eyes would be like, oh my God, you know, like guys, you couldn't even hate on something like that. You just have to be like, dang, like, you know, it's like, what do you say about that? Just like, wow, if you really saw that, it's like, I mean, wow, what can you say? It's just like, look at it, like, that's amazing. So, another thing that I've come across is, in terms of, a lot of times people think, you know, obviously you can tell in terms of the way that I grew up, I did not grow up in a bad, you know, what I would term a ghetto neighborhood. So a lot of times people still think, though, you have the hood pass. You know, oh, you're black, you can go into bad areas, you know, nothing will happen to you. And I'm like, no, sir, that's not the way it works. No, I mean, I could look the part, you know, I could put on baggy jeans, Chuck Taylors, look gangster with my hat to the side, all this stuff, but as soon as I open my mouth, it's like you guys looking at me now, you'd be like, why is that white man in blackface up there? Black people would be like, I'm actually offended right now. I thought we were all past that, but, you know, but anyway, like I have a story where it was a good example of this. I actually worked for the census. And, you know, for the census, you go around to different, you know, your houses, collecting information for people who didn't, whatever, send it in. And so we're looking at, you know, I had to go to some places that you start looking at the addresses and you're like, ooh, this is rough right here. I don't know if I want to go down and collect addresses here. But the group I was in, it was about like 10 white people, myself, and like one Mexican girl. So we started looking at the addresses. I'm not even kidding. It was like a universal like term. When they saw it, it was like, ooh, is that you? Like, going there? And so I saw them looking at me, and so I was looking like, who are you looking at? Like, I'm like, you want to send me down there? It's like, no. It doesn't go down like that. They're like, well, it, you know, kind of got the look like, well, you know, those are your people right there. Yeah, you know, I show up, and this was a really bad, like, gang-infested area. I was like, they see me show up, they don't know me, you know. There's kind of two sides to the hood pass. There's certain areas where you can go in, you know, maybe like a party, and you kind of fit in, and it's like, oh, nobody's going to say anything. Then there's times when you go in those areas, and they're like, we don't know you, you know, and if you go missing, nobody's going to care about you. So I told him, I was like, I'm going down there, but white lady, you coming with me, because if you go missing, they're going to shut down this whole city. Another thing that really I actually came across, I really started to realize more recent was, you ever had like kind of a backhanded compliment, you know, given to you, where like, especially for me, people will be like, oh my gosh, you're, you know, kind of clean cut and you're really well spoken and all this stuff. And so then I kind of thought about it. I was like, well, what does that mean, you know, in terms of, does that mean like all black people can't talk, you know? Or like, you know, that's kind of like if you had an Asian friend, you'd be like, oh my God, they're clean cut and they're so nice and they drive so well. Why would you say that? You know, it's like, if you had like a Middle Eastern friend, you know, it'd be like, oh my God, like you know, they're nice again, clean cut, and they're not a terrorist. It's just kind of like, how would you even say bring that up? So, you know, but the worst thing that happens to me, have you ever been on the side of assuming a stereotype about somebody and then you get mad when it's not true about them? For instance, I was in school, and in college, one of my math classes, you know, we were in a math group. I had a guy, Asian guy. So, you know, I'm looking like, oh, he's going to know everything about math and science. So I'm going to just give it over to him, you know, like, hey, you know, Timmy, can you take care of this? And he was just like, oh, yeah, you know, we'll do it. Man, we ended up flunking the thing. And I'm looking at him like, Timmy, what happened? You know, and he was like, he never said he was good at math. He was just like, I don't know, I'm just like you. I'm trying to learn this stuff. So, you know, the worst is when it happens with your own race. And again, going back to black people and going back to basketball, there have been times when I've looked at a guy, he looks like Adonis, like, this dude should be in the NBA. I mean, he's dressed to the T, he's got the shorts, everything. You're like, yes, you are on my team. I will pass over everybody. You know, we're about to roll and, you know, win 10 games in a row. This dude couldn't jump over the crack in this, you know, on the tape on this stage right here and had stone hands. And afterwards, you'd be looking like, you're a disgrace to the race. I don't even know. You know, again, he didn't say that he was good at basketball. I'm just assuming you look the part, you know. And the worst is for fellas, I think. You ever gone to like the, you know, had your friend or somebody set you up on a date, like especially a girlfriend, like, oh my God, you should date my friend. She's so cute. She's half Brazilian and cute. You're looking like, oh dang, like she's probably, you know, pretty good looking. You get to see her and you'd be like, oh my God, I did not know Medusa and Gargamel had a child. Why would you send me to that place? So, you know, that's just one of those things that I think about. So thank you guys for the time.